It's This Week in X for Wolverine number 12, and we're going to start with our immediate reaction to this issue, beginning with Tyler.
Is this X-Force?
Harry.
An interesting character reveal at the end does not make up for a boring arc.
Fariha.
When Wolverine will help you, he will actually take you to Krakoa to help you. When Cyclops will leave you on a ship.
When this book is at its best, it's just an average issue of X-Force. It's This Week in X, presented by Crushing Comics for Wolverine number 12. We're going to go around and take this from a buy it or skip it perspective. That might come with a few spoilers, but we are mostly going to be reacting to if this comic is worthy of your attention. Wolverine number 12, starting with Tyler, buy or skip?
Qualified buy for this. I mean, I surprised myself by not hating this issue, and actually like it to a certain extent. Maybe because Wolverine is not acting weirdly savage and non-intelligent. Maybe because this is an actual X-Force plot. Maybe because I was genuinely surprised by Omega Red's turn of event. And it tied into X of Sword. So there are some good stuff here.
Harry, buy or skip?
Skip. This sucks. There's nothing interesting happening. It is not as offensive as issues prior. I will give it that. It did not make me upset. I don't remember anything that happened. I feel like my life has become a little less because of it. Yes, the ending is interesting. I like X of Swords too, but this is still going. We are never going to escape this. We are going to die talking about Wolverine and the vampires. Hard skip, buy anything else. Go tell your family you love them.
Wow. Fariha, buy or skip?
Skip. I'm just done. I'm just done with like the fact that there are other good books that are being canceled, and just because by the sheer virtue of like who the cast is, who the writer is, and this book is continuing on because, well, we have a testosterone-filled man as the lead, and just doing testosterone-filled men things, or I don't know what you men do. I mean, whatever. It's boring. I'm just done. I really, really enjoyed the whole connection to X of Swords that came at the end. But honestly, why didn't we lead with that? Or why didn't there was not more of that? I mean, it just no. Like no. It's $4. Oh, please, no.
I say buy. I think this is the closest that Wolverine has gotten as a title to being what a Wolverine title should be, which is that it's bloody and fun. It shows Wolverine's connection to people, X-Men and non-X-Men, and it's got a little bit of some kind of ongoing thing that he can't just slash his way out of. That's what a Wolverine comic does well. And guess what? We haven't had a good one that has done that since probably before 2013. So is this like an amazing comic? No, but there are enough moments in this that really made my ears and eyes and brain perk up that I was like, you know what? If Wolverine can maintain at this level of quality and this level of plot and intrigue, then I am actually happy to buy it every month and dig into it, because this is the right direction. I don't think it's gotten to like greatest ever Larry Hama or Greg Rucka Wolverine comic levels, but it's a Wolverine comic I can enjoy. And part of that is because I am just a big whore for Omega Red. Okay, I love Omega Red stuff, and when you use him like an actual character instead of just using him as a monster of the week, I get really excited. And this is a rare time that Omega Red is being used as an actual character.
So what I'm hearing is buy for the Omega Red whores.
I didn't say that exclusively.
I don't want to be dramatic. I think Peter and Tyler should go to jail for that.
I'm with you.
No,
Thank you.
I'm judging the book by its merits. But
I know.
If we are talking about the fact that having this book meant that some other more worthy book gets cancelled, then yes, it's an entirely 100% skip for me.
But that's not how the calculus of that works. If you want to say that this book got X Factor canceled, the only way this book got X Factor canceled is because Wolverine's not an X Factor. Do you want Wolverine in X Factor? Because that's what you get by making these kind of comments. You get Wolverine in every comic book.
I kind of want Wolverine in X Factor so that people buy the book. Wow. And then Wolverine is being written as a background character like Marjorie Liu did in Astonishing X-Men.
That's true, and that works.
Yeah.
So Wolverine is part of X Factor, but he doesn't really appear and do a lot. And honestly, does he do a lot here?
No,
No,
I think
I
what's
mean,
partially interesting about this issue is actually Wolverine ultimately does very little compared to a lot of the other characters in the issue.
And that's why you liked it. And that's why you liked it. Because, Wolverine didn't do a lot. Like, so see, you're actually proving our point.
Well, look, I think when you have a good Wolverine solo comic, it tends to be because it's got its own separation from X-Men and its own cast and its own drive. And like, if you just try to make it all about Wolverine in every panel of the comic and Wolverine slashing stuff and Wolverine smoking cigars and Wolverine whatever, there's just not enough there. Like, you need to build a little bit of a world around him that feels like a Venn diagram with X-Men, where there's a little bit of an intersection on Wolverine, but there's things off to the side. Now, I don't think this all the way got here, because I think it really kind of just feels like a B-side of X-Force. It feels like deleted scenes from X-Force.
Yep.
But better than some of actual X-Force recently, I think.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, why do you take away certain things from X-Force where we could have more Kasara's art on X-Force drawing this and a more concise story, instead of it being dragged on for like what is this, the 5th issue now on Dracula, on vampires? And
500th, actually. We've never left.
Yeah.
So the one interesting thing that happens is that like Forge makes basically the anti-vampire suit. It's a vampire suit for vampires that don't want to be vampires. It's helping them with their blood coagulation problems. It's screening them from sunlight. It's filtering air. It's basically just meant to preserve them. And then Wolverine realizes, or Forge realizes, or somebody realizes that Sevalith, one of the many realms that we met in X of Swords, has kind of solved this vampire problem. It appears to be Eternal Night there. They have, ethical blood. They figured out how to have little vampire babies. It's pretty much, and it's got this really interesting concept, I think, that the Earth version of vampires is just this backwater, redneck, inbred version of vampires, almost all of which passes through Dracula. And like, basically, this is Benjamin Percy being like, there's a whole lot of vampires other than that kind of vampire. X-Men have met other vampires other than that vampire. It's so much more interesting than that. And to me, it's interesting above and beyond that, because we're playing with this idea of societies that are too insular. We're playing with that ideas of reigning can lead to your downfall. We're playing with all of these ideas that are actual themes instead of just stupid BS slicing people to ribbons. Harry, are there themes? Am I crazy? No.
Yes. No, you're right. You're right. Well, it's yes, this
Why
is
this wasn't last issue?
That's part of it.
Yeah, we didn't need last issue at all to get here.
There are themes, there are ideas. I don't think they're executed very well. I'm not grading on effort. Like, it doesn't deliver. There's nothing here that's interesting. Even if to a common refrain is you explaining this was more fun than reading it. So like, God.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like, the whole idea of like a backwater, vampires and stuff, that reminded me of pre-Hickman X-Men mutants. I'm like, yeah, it's just like that. They're just fighting all the time, not doing anything, and then post-Hickman, they kind of got like halfway through on the way to becoming Sevalith or stuff. But I will say though, I mean, I am very much liking everything to do with X of Swords being sprinkled throughout the reign of X, like that part. And I was like the whole time I was like, why did we need the last 2 issues? Let's just start it with that. Let's just him started make this the next issue.
Right? Why did we need to jump through so many stupid, boring, forgettable vampire hoops to get to the whole like Sevalith? Like, just go there, get there, do it. We're all gonna die. The sun's gonna burn out. Earth is gonna explode. The world's gonna end. Like, just make good comics, Benjamin Percy.
Come on, and
if Sevalith.
So here's another thing I want to tell you though, because I was watching Castlevania right before I was reading it, and Castlevania has Richard Armitage in it, who voices Benjamin Percy's Wolverine in the podcast. And Castlevania is also, guess what about? Vampires. So when I was reading all of that and I was trying, my brain was just making all that connection. I'm like, dude, I know you can do good Wolverine story. So what is this? What is this?
If Sevalith just wipes out all of the vampires and Dracul and Vampire Island and friggin' Russia or whatever, I will give Benjamin Percy my card.
But the problem is that Aaron is writing a Blade story.
I know. That's why we'll never get rid of these We'll never get rid of them. They'll be here
Yeah,
forever.
we'll never get rid of them.
It's like freaking
Well, there's-
vampire herpes. I don't.
Vampire.
That was awful. I'm sorry.
Well, there's one other thing in this comic book maybe of interest. So Omega Red gets to be an actual character. He's like, at this point, what is he, a quadruple agent, a quintuple agent?
I don't
They're playing
know.
him and
I
he's
don't
playing
care.
them. But he's like, Beast, there's actually a solution here. Just send a poison Wolverine back to the vampires. And Beast is like, what's that? I get to commit genocide? Awesome. Genocide. Like Beast is ready.
I
Like
wish
he's
we
rubbing
had.
his furry paws with glee. He's like, oh, I got to play with genetics.
Get to kill
Beast
what?
was channeling his inner Fariha in this one. It's like
Oh.
genocide.
And so they
I don't
poison the
profession,
vampires
sorry.
by sending them a plant-based Wolverine. Vampires are carnivores, and they send an omnivorous Wolverine he's got sunshine seeded throughout his veins, and they try to steal his sunshine like the '90s hit song, maybe early 2000s, and it does not go well for them. You don't want to drink. Steal my sunshine. Don't try to drink from the blood of somebody who is cloned from Wolverine and also sunshine plant seeds, apparently.
I was reading this. I was getting to that point in the book, and I was checking the page count. Like, we're getting pretty close to the end of this book, and this isn't over. You can't keep doing this. And it kind of ended, but we're gonna get a Sevelith, which admittedly is pretty cool.
But I
Whatever.
do like the idea. I do like the idea of making mutant husk and sending them in, like, send some of them to Arcus.
It's a
It's
cool.
like, with regards from mutants.
Percy's done
Mutants
some
send their
cool.
regards.
He's done cool, gnarly stuff with like mutant regeneration and like using bodies and creativity. That's been creative with this and X-Force. That is cool. Okay, I gave a compliment.
Okay, Tyler, anything else before we wrap this up?
No, I mean, I'm just happy that we get like no more Louise, because I don't buy that character at all.
I don't either. Why am I? And I like female characters. I like vampires. I like vampire slayers. I like religious shit. I like all of this stuff. And I'm like, why is she on panel?
I
Why?
don't know. Yeah, she's just bland cardboard.
Lab and the lab guy is doing his
Yeah.
whole, what is it, Renfield in Bram Stoker's Dracula?
Yeah.
And then he's like, I just ate a fly. I'm like, I don't care.
I
And,
don't care.
and she also get to visit Krakoa when,
Aw.
Cyclops left his champion buddies on a ship.
That did
I'm
feel like a
telling you.
big deal. I was like, you're just taking her right to.
Yeah,
Krakoa,
taking her right
huh?
there. Because
Wolverine's
I'm
got a
like,
guided tour company. Maverick could have got there by himself, but Wolverine brought Maverick, see all the little fairies dancing around. He brought this lady. Wolverine's
Yeah.
actually making some money on the side.
I don't
of
know,
this.
Maverick is a mutant.
I know, but he
this
didn't want to
lady-
go. Wolverine was
Yeah.
like, come on.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm like, Team Wolverine. I mean, it's because it's me, Team Cyclops, and Team
But
Wolverine. What
but
do
they
you
still pale in comparison to Wisdom, who gets like the hula, and he's like, no.
All right. Well, folks, that's it for our brief buy or skip discussion. I think in total, we've come down heavier on skip than buy because Tyler was a qualified buy and we had 2 strong skips. So our official Crushing Comics recommendation for this issue is skip. This has been our This Week in X discussion of Wolverine number 12. If you're looking for discussions of other X-Men issues, check elsewhere on the channel because we just can't stop talking about them. And why is that, Fariha?
X-Men is better when it's read together, or when
Even
Peter's
in this
explaining.
case.
Yeah,
Or when Peter's explaining media.
Peter explaining the plot.
All right, folks. Well, if you've enjoyed this discussion, we invite you to please do all those familiar YouTube things, like and subscribe. It helps us know that you're along with us and that we're growing on this journey. And so for myself, Fariha, Tyler, and Harry, I want to thank you for listening to another episode of This Week in X, presented by Crushing Comics. And until we get to speak to you again, please be well.